budget. So, and Diane Robinson pointed out, we'd like something, a building where there was ease in updating the technology, for the plumbing and the wiring and all that kind of stuff. So as technology changes, we'll be able to adapt with it very efficiently. Someone said their concept was Frank Lloyd Wright meets Japan in terms of and the idea of good acoustics in the church and sound isolation for the children and flexible sanctuary where we could repurpose the sanctuary by using different types of seating as opposed to flexible seating as opposed to pews. I think that's it.
So we've got current facilities as our last topic, faith. And we're just at 2 o'clock now, so if we can stick around.
And as she comes up, somehow I misplaced my black sweater, so if it's like on the back of your chair.
There we got it.
No.
That's mine, you can't have it. Ours is current site, so I'm going to be very repetitive of what other people have said, but I'm just going to whiz through this. The one thing, speaking of whiz, that didn't come up was the need for more bathroom facilities for the women and for the men. So the second one is the struggle between inviting the community in. We see ourselves as more or less invisible now from the community versus keeping the homeless and the trespassers out, including their feces, their needles, etc. So that was a major consideration for our needs going forward. We need a connection to the younger generation. One suggestion for that was to return to the concept of a daily meditation, maybe with advertisements on the food trucks in the neighborhoods, so that you have a 15-minute meditation following your food truck experience. There was a definite feeling that in addition to the younger generation, we need a spiritual versus a religious and a non-commercial look. And that was best exemplified by several people as a sort of a Zen look. Flexibility of spaces, except for whatever is going to be our chapel area. That's an area that people want to be dedicated to either yoga or to meditation, without the chairs stacked along the wall, as somebody said, but with an ability to go in and sit down. If you're not using it for yoga, an ability to go to sit down easily without having to set up a chair from the side of the wall. So better mobility of furniture, both in terms of the flexible spaces and the sanctuary and whatever fellowship hall we have, a balance between the size of our sanctuary and our fellowship hall, so you don't have a small one versus the other, and a wonderful space that invites giving of weddings and memorial services that will be meaningful for not only our members but our community. In terms of what we want to keep the spirituality of the type of chapel that we have now, space for yoga, a gift shop with books rather than a bookshop, a lobby for socializing, keep our good acoustics, a roof garden and water features, and community resources for meetings such as AA and other community services. And of course, keep the roadie, the backdrop in the sanctuary, and the stones from the fountain.
Thank you, Faith. Thank you all. That was incredible. So we do want to say that if you guys have more questions, more comments, you are welcome to continue to feed us through email, through the operations.director@seattleunity.org. So send Jim emails. Just one direct next step, we're gonna have another one of these meetings exactly the same for those persons in the congregation that are not here. So we will include, if you know others that wanted to come today, we will have another one. It is not scheduled yet, but that is coming up, probably a Thursday evening coming up in September.
Well, really, I think that's it. In terms of next steps, so we're continuing over the next weeks, potentially months, to continue to get this really early initial feedback from the group. You guys have been thinking a lot about this, so we're trying to collect and assimilate all of this information together. Some of the pragmatic steps about securing the property and getting the contracts, all of those things are being handled by leaders in your organization, so that is an ongoing process. But this is something that's going to be unfolding over the next few months. And there will be communication back to all of you at various steps, so you can see what's going on and give input. There will be a building committee who is being established now, and will be representing all of you and Unity. Anybody in the organization have anything else they would like to say before we wrap up today?
I do.
Yes.
I'd like to give a big shout out for our library, to have the space in our new building for our library. We have one of the best metaphysical libraries on the whole entire West
Shout out
Coast.
for the library.
And
Get that on the
it's a
notes.
real big repository of our Unity history.
Great. Okay, fantastic. And that's a good example. Again, we know that there's no way we've touched the range of issues that there will be today. There will be topics. There are topics that have come up today that are topics that in themselves deserve their own discussion and exploration. So again, those are the kinds of things. Please send those suggestions and comments. So wake up in the morning tomorrow, in the middle of the night, you'll think, what about this? And those are the kinds of things. Please get that information, and we'll be synthesizing and playing this back to you, and then using, studying these ideas and feedback with the realities of the site and the opportunities with the design. Tom, do you have anything to say as we close?
No, just thank you. This was a terrific meeting, and just as you guys all might guess, just listening to you all and listening to the summations, we're already starting to figure out some directions here that are going to be super important. But this is just the beginning, so please send anything you're thinking about through the format.
Okay, any other, as you hand up?